There is this notion that I've had that you can get married to the wrong person. Um, Personally, I believe that there is someone that God has intended for you. If you ask for suggestions from heaven, you will get a suggestion. If you don't ask, you can still go ahead because the human being has been given the free will. When we look at the examples in the Bible, we look at Jacob had intended to get married to Rachel, but he was strict, got married to another person, and in the long run, he had 4 wives. When you look at Samson and Delilah, God's intention was not that Samson should be married to someone who is of the Philistine, but Samson went ahead and got married to Delilah. So I believe there is God's intention when it comes to choosing a partner. The thing that usually makes people have goosebumps is that if I got married to a wrong person, probably when I did not know God, now I am settled with someone whom I perceive is a wrong person, or I'm making a decision and somehow in my conscience I felt this is a wrong person, and I went ahead and got married to this person, knowing consciously that God probably might have not been suggesting I should go ahead with this. Does it mean that it's all over? I've had the notions that people say, when you get married to the wrong person, then it's all over. There is nothing that can be done to redeem your life. But you see, God is pretty very much clear when it comes to stories of marriage. One of the clarity that the Bible gives is in the book of Matthew, that when you are joined to a woman, when you're joined a man to a woman, you become one flesh, and whatever God joins, no man can separate. That means whether you knew it was the right person or it is the wrong person, so long as you make a decision to settle with a woman or a man, then that becomes the will of God. The challenge usually comes when you start perceiving that this is the wrong person. There is nothing like the wrong person when you're already in marriage. Once you get into marriage, that's the will of God for you. What if you knew that that's not the person, probably that heaven was suggesting your way? God is not a God who is so much fixed. When we make decisions that are automatically not incongruent with his will, does not mean that now God doesn't have a way out in which he can make whatever decision that we made, whether it's wrong, whether it's not in his will, work out for our good. When you look at the book of Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, God says to the children of Israelites that I know the plans that I have for you, plans to give you a future and a hope, plans not to make evil things come your way. Now, when you look at the context of when God was speaking this through Jeremiah to the children of Israelites, these people were facing repercussions out of a wrong decision that they had made. They had served other gods, they had disobeyed God's commandments, and now they were languishing in challenges, in captivity under Babylon because of their wrong decisions. But even when they're languishing in their circumstances, in wrong decisions, God comes and speaks through the prophet Jeremiah and says, even in this, I know still the plans I have for you. That even in the situation that you are in, the decision that you've made that is wrong, God still says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you a future and a hope. In the same context, when Adam and Eve decides to go against what God's expectation was, God still is able to begin a program to redeem man. In other words, God is never out of options just because you made a wrong decision or you perceive you've made a wrong decision. What is usually the way forward when you find that you have made a wrong decision and now you're in the will of God, but it's still what you perceive is not the interest of God? The most important thing is that you give yourself to following his voice. In that scenario, where now you are in a place where you've made a decision, you give yourself again to God and ask him to come and direct you from that place. Look at the Google Map app. When you put a point A to point B where you want to go, sometimes you can decide not to follow the Google Map and choose another direction, direction that the Google Map is not telling you that you should flow in. But it does not mean that now when you choose that direction, Google Map will not have another calibrated way to take you to the point where you're choosing. It's in that form. When you make a decision that is not incongruent with the will of God, and now you come back and ask Him that He may forgive you and He may direct you from that place where you've made the wrong decision, God is able to make sure that you are recalibrated to a place where you get to the path. And that's our God. In Romans 8:28, He says, all things work together for good to them who are called, to them who love God, called according to His purpose. So it's not about whether I'm wrong in a marriage that is with a wrong person. No. In a marriage, you're already in the will of God. The thing that remains right now is for you to listen to God in that setup, and God will calibrate a way in which you will be able to enjoy even that decision that you made that looks like it is not correct. There are repercussions, yes. There are things that are consequences that will follow every time you disobey, yes. But even in the disobedience, just like God assured the children of Israelites in Babylon through Jeremiah, that the plans that He has for them are plans for future and a hope. Is the same thing for you. When you decide to give yourself to God in that situation, God already has a strategy to make you enjoy, to make you have a future, to make you have a hope, even in that mistake that you perceive you have made. So cheer up, leave it to God, surrender to God, follow His voice, and His voice will lead you towards your prosperity. May God richly bless you.